Good morning. Welcome to the Weather Desk. We made it to Wednesday, and we've got a lot to talk about today. We're going to tackle today's top weather headlines, taking a deeper dive. We do this each and every Monday through Friday at 9 o'clock. Right here from the 13 News Now studios, and we're glad you found us here on 13 News Now Plus. I'm meteorologist Craig Moeller. I've been a meteorologist working in broadcast since 1989. I actually became a meteorologist while starting in television, so it was 93 that I got my degree. But at any rate, I've been in the game for quite a while, and I want to get into what we're going to talk about today. We'll start off with a look at our topics. We have more storms down along the Gulf Coast. They are getting hit with heavy rain right now. There are flood warnings up for parts of Louisiana, and there could be additional excessive rain down there. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about areas that could see some more tornadic development, areas that could deal with hail and strong winds. Again, it's mainly down to the south. Now, in addition to that, there's reasons to keep an eye to the sky, especially the night sky. We've got a really cool package coming up from NASA, and they're going to talk about some of the celestial events to check out during this month of May. We're also going to take a look at some hurricane name fun facts in here. You ever think about it, like what hurricane letter is the one that's been most retired? Well, Tim Pandagis is going to dive into that. We'll hear more on that and some other fun facts with hurricane names. And we're still keeping an eye to Kilauea. This volcano in Hawaii on the Big Island, it has been so active, and folks there, geologists and the volcano experts that are watching this are saying at any point this thing could go. So we're going to head back out there. We've got live night looks at it, and you'll see some of the spewing of the volcano, what's already going on, and why they think it could go at any point. So we're going to continue to tackle all of these things. Let's start with a look at the weather, what we're seeing this morning, and especially what's been going on down along the Gulf Coast. I want to start off here in the mid-Atlantic. It has been beautiful here. Humidity is lower. We're being spoiled in Southeast Virginia, Northeast North Carolina. This is the home market for 13 News Now. But we do keep an eye up and down the region. You'll notice that maybe a few light sprinkles. I don't think this was really, most of it was making it down to the ground early this morning south of D.C., and that stuff's all gone right now. As we take a look down to the south, though, totally different story across Texas. Some big storms there, and we had some pretty intense storms south of Houston earlier this morning. That stuff continues to move along, a lot of it out over the Gulf, and there is heavy rain back across Louisiana, and we'll dive into the radar there in just a moment. We've got an area of low pressure spinning here. If you look carefully into the clouds, you can see kind of this circulation right in there. That's your upper level energy with that. And we've got another area. This is that really mature storm system that we've been tracking for so long. We're still looking at this thing kind of lumbering along. Frontal boundary is offshore. We're enjoying better weather here in the mid-Atlantic. Not the case, though. Again, along the Gulf Coast, very heavy rain, and the potential is there for more strong to severe storms. Now, we're taking a look at storm reports, and this has come in. There's one area, if you look closely here, not too far. Well, you can see right along the Texas-Louisiana border. Let's take a closer look at that. You see there was a tornado reported, and we're going to talk about that. Again, this is in the northwest corner of Louisiana. So a lot of reports of flooding across Louisiana, parts of Texas, some wind damage, some hail. But I do want to key in on this tornado report. And again, this came in just off to the southwest of Shreveport. You can see with this, trees were snapped along this road, Woolworth Road, south of Walnut Hill Elementary. So this is a local storm report. But what I wanted to tell you was that there was a tornadic debris signature that was depicted near this location. And what we do when we take a look at the radar, there's a number of different ways that we look for potential rotations. Sometimes it's the velocity we look at, winds moving in one direction right next to winds moving in the opposite direction close to each other. We'll get what we call a couplet. That indicates that there could be some rotation around that. Sometimes we look at shear. Sometimes we look at storm relative velocity. And sometimes we look at something called a correlation coefficient, and that's where the radar is shooting and actually picking up debris of varying sizes and shapes, and we get these what we call debris signatures out there. Well, that's what they had with this particular situation. Again, trees snapped, and they got that debris signature that was depicted on this radar, and that was around 3:33 yesterday in the county of Caddo, and that was the city of Greenwood. So just thought I'd pass that information along. Kind of interesting to see it. Now, yesterday we talked about CAPE. All right, that's that convective available potential energy, and talked about how there's a lot of CAPE down along the Gulf Coast. We'd see some CAPE down across Florida as well. And we've seen some of that varying a little bit across Louisiana. That's what I've thrown on here, the CAPE, so you can see that as well. A lot of CAPE down farther to the south along the Mexican coastline as well. South Texas, Brownsville, some of those areas seeing it. But we'll focus in on this heavy rain and what's been falling across the area. There is the potential for severe storms, and this is just updated. So the new outlook for today, earlier this morning, there was a level 2 threat across South Texas. Now it's just a level 1 threat, but you can still see strong storms still potentially could develop across Oklahoma, parts of Arkansas, Texas, and the Gulf Coast. So southern Louisiana, back over through Mobile, Alabama, and you head over towards Florida, Pensacola, those areas still under that level 1 threat. As far as the tornadic threat goes, it's not great, but there's that kind of initial first level threat for tornadic development. So, you know, an isolated spin-up tornado could occur, Oklahoma, or again, right along the Gulf Coast. We're going to be watching for that. Also, just strong and damaging winds gusting in excess of 55 or 60 miles per hour with some of those cells. A possibility, again, along the Gulf Coast. And as far as the hail outlook goes, you can see that extending really more over East Texas and up towards Oklahoma and Arkansas. So those are the threats for today. And this is kind of in contrast, you know, over the past couple of days, we'd had some areas kind of hashed out, indicating there could be some larger hail, maybe hail in excess of 2 inches in diameter. We don't have any of that across Texas for today, so that's good news up through Oklahoma. But still, they could have some severe hail. So we'll watch for all of that. Now, tomorrow, I really wanted to draw our attention, again, because so many of the folks that watch right now, maybe you're watching from your home here, Southeast Virginia, Northeast North Carolina, we have a lot of viewership in this area. So for tomorrow, we're going to see that severe weather threat area shifting east and northeast. And I think along the Blue Ridge, we're going to see the chances for some stronger storms, especially late day tomorrow and tomorrow evening, as I will show you with our futurecast coming up. There is that chance. Now, the severe weather outlook for tomorrow, level 1, and it extends up through D.C. and into Maryland. Western parts of North Carolina, western parts of South Carolina, all of Georgia, North Florida, all of Alabama, all of Mississippi, most of Louisiana, and eastern Arkansas still included, and South Texas also included in that level 1 threat. Little closer look at some of the storms that are going on right now. This is a new severe thunderstorm warning. So let's take this full. I want to go over and just take a quick click on that. We'll take a look at the details. That just popped on to this radar image. So we do have a couple areas with the flash flooding. I knew those were out there, but this is a brand new severe thunderstorm warning, and it looks like it's just off to the southwest of New Orleans. You can see the parishes there, and this will run through 8:45 Central Time. So just about another 36 minutes or so left on that. About 77,000 people under this severe thunderstorm warning. Certainly something we will be watching carefully. Now, out to the west of that, and you can see that cell right now moving along. Let me show you here. This leading edge may be producing some gusty winds with that as it continues to move off to the east. Let me see how quickly this thing is moving along. And I'm going to do this real quick. I'm going to put a quick click on that. And the movement on this, it is currently capable of producing 60-mile-an-hour winds. That's the primary threat. But it is moving off. It's right now just 9 miles southwest of Gray, moving east at 40 miles per hour. So I could put a track on that, and you can see as this line moves along, I'll put a leading edge kind of squall right down through here and move that over the next 45 minutes. You see some of the different communities there that are going to be in line to get hit with very gusty winds, maybe some large hail as that system moves along. Now, back out to the west of that, we also have this area that is under the flood warning, and that's for the area around Franklin and Baldwin. You can see some of the other cities there, the parishes Iberia, St. Mary, and Vermilion. Flash flood warnings, they've had a lot of rain already, and 56,000 people affected by that. So a couple areas, obviously, we're keeping a close eye to down along southern Louisiana. Now, the excessive rainfall potential and the flash flooding potential, it continues from New Orleans all the way to the Gulf Coast. And some of this area is pretty marshy here, but there are those barrier islands. There are some different areas, again, and you get the heavy rain, and it can create problems all around. Back through Houston, it's a level 1 threat, but most of the Louisiana coast under level 2, and then you get to this level 3 threat for New Orleans. So that will be a concern. We will, of course, keep an eye to that. Southern parts of Mississippi over to Mobile Bay. You can see right on the edge of that 2 and level 1, level 2 threat right there. So that's for today through Thursday morning. The Space Coast of Florida also under a level 1 threat, and there's some areas back from southern Kansas and northern Oklahoma across southern Missouri, northern Arkansas, much of Tennessee also included in a level 1 threat. So more rain there. There is that marginal risk of excessive rainfall and maybe some localized flash flooding, but that's about it right now. That's for today through Thursday morning. As we look ahead, Thursday morning to Friday morning, some of that heavier rain, that focus shifts eastward, still a level 2 threat down around southern Louisiana and New Orleans. Back up to the northeast U.S., you can see parts of Pennsylvania and New York State under that level 2 or slight risk. Otherwise, northern Virginia, including the D.C. area, Baltimore, up through New Jersey, all the way up to southern Vermont and New Hampshire under that level 1 threat. Much of Pennsylvania and a good section of eastern New York State also under that level 1 threat. That's through Friday morning. Looking ahead to Saturday morning, still unsettled weather up there for the northeast. That's that upper level energy just still sitting and spinning there. So some more rain there, rain down along the Gulf Coast. And you can see from Louisiana and again, New Orleans all the way over to Pensacola, they have that level 2 threat. Finally, as we get Saturday morning into Sunday morning, the rain shifts off to the east. Taking a look at what's on the horizon with the Euro for our area, we're going to see the rain picking up and the chances for showers and storms late Thursday night into Friday. I'm going to revisit this coming up just a little bit later with the weather desk. Now, yesterday we talked about the Eta Aquariid meteor shower and that it had peaked yesterday morning, but that it was still going to be possible to catch some of those meteors over the next week or two. Well, that's not the only thing to keep your eye out for in the sky this month. At any moment, an event called a nova could happen, which is an explosion where a star's brightness increases dramatically, along with some other really cool sightings in the sky. Here's Preston Dykes from NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory with some skywatching tips for May.
What's up for May? 4 bright planets, morning and night, a chance of meteor showers, and waiting for a nova. For planet watching this month, you'll find Mars and Jupiter in the west following sunset. Mars sticks around for several hours after it gets dark, but Jupiter is setting by 9:30 or 10 p.m. and getting lower in the sky each day. The first quarter moon appears right next to the red planet on the 3rd. Find them in the west during the first half of the night that evening. In the morning sky, Venus and Saturn are the planets to look for in May. They begin the month appearing close together on the sky and progressively pull farther apart as the month goes on. For several days in late May, early risers will enjoy a gathering of the moon with Saturn and Venus in the eastern sky before dawn. Watch as the moon passes the 2 planets while becoming an increasingly slimmer crescent. You'll find the moon hanging between Venus and Saturn on the 23rd. Early May brings the annual Eta Aquariid meteor shower. These are meteors that originate from comet Halley. Earth passes through the comet's dust stream each May and again in October. Eta Aquariids are fast-moving, and a lot of them produce persistent dust trains that linger for seconds after the meteor's initial streak. This is one of the best annual showers in the southern hemisphere, but tends to be more subdued north of the equator, where we typically see 10 to 20 meteors per hour. On the peak night this year, the moon sets by around 3 a.m., leaving dark skies until dawn for ideal viewing conditions. While the peak is early on the morning of May 6th, the 2 or 3 nights before that are also decent opportunities to spy a few shooting stars. Astronomers have been waiting expectantly for light from a distant explosion to reach us here on Earth. An event called a nova is anticipated to occur sometime in the coming months. Some 3,000 light-years away is a binary star system called T Coronae Borealis, or TCRB. It consists of a red giant star with a smaller white dwarf star orbiting closely around it. Now, the giant's outer atmosphere is all puffed up, and the dwarf star is close enough that its gravity continually captures some of the giant's hydrogen. About every 80 years, the white dwarf has accumulated so much of the other star's hydrogen that it ignites a thermonuclear explosion, and that's the nova. T Coronae Borealis is located in the constellation Corona Borealis, or the Northern Crown, and it's normally far too faint to see with the unaided eye. But it's predicted the nova will be as bright as the constellation's brightest star, which is about as bright as the North Star Polaris. You'll find Corona Borealis right in between the two bright stars Arcturus and Vega. You can use the Big Dipper's handle to point you to the right part of the sky. Try having a look for it on clear, dark nights before the nova, so you'll have a comparison when a new star suddenly becomes visible there. Now, you may have heard about this months ago as astronomers started keeping watch for the nova midway through 2024, but it hasn't happened yet. Predicting exactly when novas or any sort of stellar outburst will happen is tricky. But excitement began growing when astronomers observed the star to dim suddenly, much as it did right before its previous nova in 1946. When the nova finally does occur, it won't stay bright for long, likely flaring in peak brightness for only a few days. And since it's not predicted again for another 80 years, you might just want to join the watch for this super rare, naked-eye stellar explosion in the sky.
That just blows my mind, how they track and figure all that stuff out. Absolutely love it. Again, keep your eye to the sky and keep tuning back in to the weather desk right here on 13 News Now Plus. We will let you know if that thing goes. We will have stories on it, and we will let you know when to try to check it out. If we've got visibility of this brighter star that just appeared in the sky, we'll let you know. It said it should be visible maybe for a couple of days. It would be really cool to check that out. Well, right now, I want you to check out the Atlantic hurricane season. You know, it starts in less than a month, and we have our list of names. We've told you before how storms get their names, and if you missed that video, you can find it on our website, 13 News Now. But right now, we want to hear from Chief Meteorologist Tim Pandagis explaining what letter in the alphabet has the most retired names and why.
The start of the Atlantic hurricane season is just around the corner, and soon the names on this year's list may begin to make headlines as storms develop. Now, there are 21 names designated for the 2025 season, with a backup list ready if all are used. Now, you might notice, though, that names starting with the letters Q, U, X, Y, and Z are missing. That's because there simply aren't enough names beginning with those letters to meet the naming criteria. Now, of the 21 letters used, one stands out for an unexpected reason. Can you guess which letter has the most retired storm names? Well, it's the letter I. 13 storms beginning with I have been retired, more than any other letter. The most recent was Hurricane Ian in 2022. What's even more remarkable is that 11 of those 13 retired I storms occurred since the year 2000. So why is I such a common letter for significant storms? The answer lies in hurricane climatology. The letter I is assigned to the 9th named storm of the season, which on average forms around mid-September. Mid-September is also the peak of the Atlantic hurricane season. This timing means environmental conditions are at their most favorable for intense and damaging hurricanes, giving storms like those named with I a higher likelihood of becoming major weather events. So as we move into the 2025 season, one name to keep an eye on is Imelda, the I storm on this year's list. If and when it forms, it could be one to watch closely. I'm Chief Meteorologist Tim Pandagis.
Yeah, that was one of the first things I was told about, when I first came back here, is beware the ice storms, all right? And it has played out for the very reasons Tim just explained. I think about some of the big ones to hit Hampton Roads, our area. We had Isabel. Isabel came in and it moved in right over Ocracoke Island. If this thing would have come in just a little, just a few more degrees off to the north and northwest, it could have come up into the bay, and that would have devastated Hampton Roads. As it was, we took a really hard hit from Isabel. That was back in 2003. Then there was Irene. I believe that was 2011. Irene hit, another ice storm with big impacts to our area. It wasn't quite as hard a hit as Isabel, but Irene came in and did quite a number on our area as well. And again, that's just for Hampton Roads. Those ice storms obviously have had significant impacts, and once they do, a lot of damage, a lot of property damage, costs a lot, or costs a lot in life, human life. Those storm names are retired, and that's one of those things that we always keep a close eye to. Right now, I want to show you what's happening in the tropics. We'll check those sea surface temperatures again. We've been talking about how warm the sea surface is right now. As we take a look at the tropics, we have those areas we like to take a look at. And again, we're not into the season officially. June starts, the official beginning of hurricane season in the Atlantic, June 1, but we can sometimes get some development in May. And we've got clusters of storms, the ones I was talking about, coming off of Texas, the coastline there, right along the coast of Louisiana and just south of Mississippi and Alabama. So we're watching this, but these are, again, not associated with anything tropical. Taking a look back down across the southern Gulf and into the Caribbean, things are looking good. Our water's just off the southeast coastline, pretty quiet right now as well. The rest of the MDR, the main development region, looking pretty good across the Atlantic. Now, on our local waters, we've got very peaceful conditions today. Things are looking good. We can show you the marine forecast, light west to southeast winds. Again, for the bay and for the ocean, and the sea's running just a couple feet, so not a big deal. Occasionally, you might get a 3-footer, but it has been pretty chill out there. As we take a look at the forecast for Mother's Day, I did want to get to this. You can see for Mother's Day, temperatures upper 70s, close to 80 for some inland areas. Just as nice as mom's hugs. I put that together yesterday, not backing off it. I still think it looks great for Mother's Day. We'll take a look at the national picture for Mother's Day, and you can see again showers and thunderstorms popping up with our symbols: Orlando, Atlanta, back towards New Orleans. Raleigh looks pretty good. It's going to be nice in the northeast U.S. Beautiful in the central part of the country, but warm up in Minneapolis. It's projected to really get pretty hot up there. Omaha warm as well. Not as warm. Little Rock and back over to St. Louis, Chicago should be very pleasant. Temperatures in the west looking good around San Francisco, a little cooler there. L.A. Vegas is going to be hot. And how about Phoenix? 105. Things pretty quiet. Denver to Salt Lake. Some showers for Seattle for Mother's Day. All right, we're going to get into the rest of the forecast, but before we do, I want to treat you to a live look at Kilauea. So we take a look here. We've been keeping a close eye on the Hawaiian volcano each and every day this week here on the Weather Desk, and that's because the U.S. Geological Survey reports it could erupt again at any moment. Now, these predictions of eruptions, it can be a little tricky. They are basing this prediction for an eruption at almost any moment based on a pattern that they say they haven't really seen since 1986. Kilauea's current eruption or activity really started December 23rd of 2024. And since then, there have been 19 or more episodes where there have been sustained lava starting to fountaining, separated by pauses in activity. Now, the USGS says episode 20, the sustained lava beginning to fountain, is likely to start sometime today. And again, this all points to a larger potential eruption. So a lot of excitement out there around Kilauea, and that is a live look. Just like I said earlier, we will continue to monitor that and keep you updated on any development around Kilauea right here on the Weather Desk. So if you're into it, keep checking back. We love it. And let your friends know about the Weather Desk here on 13 News Now Plus. Wherever you have your smart TV set up or however you stream, download the 13 News Now Plus, and you'll have access to this coverage each and every Monday through Friday. Right now, we're turning our attention to the southern part of Virginia Beach. A little hazy out there, a lot of sunshine with our Thompson Creek Window Company Skyview. Our UV index here very high. It's a 9, only about 20 minutes to sunburn. Tree pollen is high, grass pollen is moderate. You can see we are clear right now with the satellite and the radar images. As we take a look at the future cast, we're good today. And I think tonight we'll just see partly cloudy skies developing. Not too bad. Again, the humidity pretty low. Now tomorrow the humidity starts to pick up. There might be a couple of stray showers out to the west during the early afternoon. By late afternoon, a few showers also possible. But this is what I really want to talk to you about. Remember those areas that we said were under a level 1 threat for severe weather? That was the Piedmont, the central part of Virginia up through northern Virginia. We have the potential for some heavier storms to work into this region. This is late Thursday evening. And as we go overnight, we could see some additional showers and storms, but I expect more of that activity through sunrise on Friday. Later Friday, additional showers and storms will also be possible. Temperatures right now are in the upper 60s to low 70s across the area. And as we take a look at the forecast today, we're going to reach highs in the upper 70s to low 80s. So 83 around Suffolk, Franklin, Chesapeake, Norfolk, all in the low 80s. Looking up to the eastern shore, a little cooler, low to mid 70s there. Temperatures in the upper 70s to low 80s from Hampton to Newport News and Williamsburg. Gloucester around 78 degrees. Low to mid 80s for northeast North Carolina, so temperatures starting to warm up a little bit. But again, the humidity lower. I don't think we're going to see showers there at the Outer Banks, but you know, a stray sprinkle not out of the question if they get a little onshore flow there. Tonight's low down around 60, partly cloudy. Tomorrow back up to 82. So sunshine and clouds, that chance for a late day shower. I expect better chances Thursday night into Friday, chances for showers and storms. Now look at your weekend. Saturday looks great, mid 70s. We're going to see upper 70s for Mother's Day. Beautiful with lots of sunshine. Monday, low risk of a shower and then some more scattered wet weather coming up on Tuesday. That is a 7-day outlook for Hampton Roads. Want to remind you, you can stay in touch with our forecast when you download our 13 News Now mobile app. Scan that QR code. If you take a moment to do it, you'll have full access to our forecast updates, our special weather coverage, any live streaming we do, and we are doing a ton of it now. In addition to the Weather Desk, we do it from our weather studios and sometimes here in the main studio. The whole point of all of this is to keep you weather aware when severe weather or impactful weather comes into our area. We've got a great team, 5 meteorologists here. We're certified and we're ready to cover the weather as it breaks across Hampton Roads. Remember, you can find us here every Monday through Friday starting at 9 o'clock here on the Weather Desk. Again, I'm meteorologist Craig Moeller, wishing you a fantastic Wednesday. We'll see you next time.